How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today got a few more missions ticked off the list. I was like, no, don't want to do that one. I don't really fancy getting 15 logs at the minute. Yeah, the first one I went is find and deliver the case. I think this was one of my first missions unlocked on the map. I just keep ignoring it for a bit, but I thought finally get around to doing it. There's like a landslide, so you got to go and recover a case, and then I'm going to go this way, kind of split those train carriages in half, and then follow through these yards over the bridge, and yeah, to my destination. To be honest, a lot of the missions, like, they're not very interesting. I've kind of got mostly the side missions chipped away. I also did the concrete plant. Yeah, this one, you spend more time kind of flicking through 50,000 different winch points to get to the correct one. Eventually, move a rock out the way. There's a black case in the back of this. I don't know if this is supposedly related to, I can't see how it is really, I suppose, but that how Colonel finished, where someone tried to make the great escape with a suitcase. I know I ended up recovering it with a loaf and that, but yeah, God knows, maybe Kelly's in there. They're getting us to dispose of the evidence. Yeah, kind of like, there's lots of different ways it seems you can kind of wiggle your way to this destination, but in fact, I'd actually argue this is probably the best way, because after this, part of like what it unlocks next is to clear the path of that landslide, and then you've got to send an AI route, and I end up bringing them this way, which, considering the AI can be a little bit questionable at times, I wouldn't want to go like too much of a crazy way. The other option though is to kind of route them, that road that I laid a load of sand to kind of get that fixed and cleared a load of trees out of the way. I could loop that way round, but then I'd have to send the AI over my sturdy bridge, which I'm confident is a good bridge, but I don't know how well the AI would balance the way across it. Whereas yeah, going around this way, there's some of them posts in the middle of the yard, but through those gates, and then yeah, find and deliver the case. Pretty simple one. Like I said though, that unlocks some more stuff. So I decided, like, I'll go and clear the area of objects then, because I wanted to test out whether it's better to send a bulldozer or a crane, really. And then it says infrastructure route. It looks like the arrows are pointing to just sort of the middle of that yard. That's a bit random, but it's not. It ends up being basically to where I've just delivered that case. Yeah, I brought this along. To be honest, I wouldn't recommend it. As much as you can see, there's bloody loads. I mean, for one, if you bring a crane, it's going to be boring, because you just know you're inevitably going to keep picking one rock up, swing it over to the left, drop it down the cliff, swing back, pick another one up, rinse and repeat. In theory, with the bulldozer, you can obviously push quite a lot at once, but, I mean, fair enough, there is like a gap in the railings at the edge here, so you could actually push them out of the way. But just how loads of them are kind of propped up against the right as we're looking now and all the rest of it, trying to get in there with a bulldozer is a bit awkward. And I did edit bits out where I was like ramming into the rocks and they weren't moving because this thing's not got enough oomph, or particularly when you're trying to turn it, it really runs out of oomph. So I just kind of edited out, like, I suppose I left in the bits where I actually quite successfully pushed some rocks. And yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Again, the crane, you're just going to kind of sit there doing the same thing on repeat. You can get a good chunk of these things out of the way. I mean, these missions, I find them a bit, not pointless, but you know how I've just shoved those rocks and that upside down van pickup thing outside of the square? It's not really clean the road anymore, it's just pushed it outside the zone, so it's one of them really where you don't necessarily clean the place up, like literally, you just sort of push it out of the zone. You might completely mess the road up like 5 centimeters away. Yeah, in the end, I've decided, like, sod it with a bulldozer, because it was taking a while. It was pissing down with rain as well. Yeah, brought a crane just to throw the last few out of the way. And then that unlocks this AI mission. Which, yeah, I end up routing them through here, which is the path I just drove with the mule trailblazer thing. Those gates, by the way, I've tried propping them open more. They just seem to, like, swing back half closed on their own. The vehicles it sends, though, is a semi-truck. There's like a look overview of the route I actually took. It's a semi-truck, but it's not got the trailer, which is probably good, to be honest. This thing is, yeah, I'm certainly not a fan of them. Along this route, though, I mean, it's roads and all the rest of it. Here's where I just split those two train carriages. It gets over, like, those train track sort of crossroad bump things. There's 4 semi-trucks, and then 2 Azov trucks, so yeah, none of them are really great at off-roading, but yeah, routed them through the yard and all the rest of it, and as the last days of. The reason the route was reading red there is one of the AI crashed into like the posts just before the end, and some of them got through. It was just typical AI driver. One of them had to go and crash and then ruin it for the rest of them. And then now I'll show you a bit of this mission. Visit the old Hermit. It's a pretty simple one. It's got a nice little piano sat on the deck in there. But I ended up another mission I'm doing to go to the concrete plant. I drive mostly the same way, so that's why I edit to here. You can see I've just gone past the water treatment plant, and then now I swerve off to the right to this other island, whereas for the mission I do later I end up just going straight ahead basically. So I thought instead of doubling the footage, and then but I didn't want to chop the other mission in half and kind of put this footage in afterwards, so I just I thought I'll leave it in order, but that's why I sort of jumped ahead really. That water as well, for no apparent reason, this thing went about half mile an hour through there. It didn't even really seem that difficult or deep or anything, but it was having none of it. The reason I wanted to drive this way as well, here is a yard, but I've not unlocked it yet. I believe after doing a couple of missions I did tonight, I have the chance to deliver a vehicle and all the rest of it and get that back up and running. But at the end on my stats, it says I've now unlocked 50 out of 50 bases, and I'm sure it said 48 out of 50 the other day. I didn't see it go to 49, and obviously that one I've found, but then I can't work out, because I thought I already had the coastal base and the base you start with on this game, when it said 48 out of 50, so yeah, I'm not too sure. I suppose I'll have to look back. That's the handy thing about putting the stats just for a second or two at the end of each video, because then if I ever do need to look back, or if they ever tweak anything, you can kind of see what's changed at a bit of a glance. Yeah, in the end I brought this mule again. Originally it was where I parked it where the AI vehicles ended up, and it was just one of the nearest things. Seemed like the good option to drive over here. Yeah, that sign, I was like, is it no trumpets? And then it was like, it must be a horn, because it's got like that little, like a little squeezy ball on the end that makes the horn honk. So yeah, of course I honk my horn. I mean, if you don't want people to do something, you don't put a sign saying don't do it. That's just more people are going to do it at that point. Yeah, visit this old hermit's house. It unlocks a couple of other missions once you get here. I was checking out the piano though. Don't know why I do like the piano, even though I can't play them. But I got a thumbnail out of it, and now the loaf can finally live his dream.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
And I was looking at some of the missions it unlocked. You got to deliver like and something else, I don't know, it says about toxic waste, and the hermit's like holding you hostage to deliver some stash of something. I'm not even sure what stash it is. Yeah, in the end I was like, sod it, I'm going to do this main mission, bring the equipment to the concrete plant. So I'm going to, I've bought a new mule trailblazer, go down to there to grab the 2 boxes, over here, cut through the water treatment facility, so that's where I kind of peeled off and went to the hermit's house. Yeah, and then deliver them to the concrete plant, which I was hoping would unlock the concrete plant, and in general I was aiming towards if I can unlock concrete bridges sooner rather than later, since there is a few bridges that need patching. I do now have the option of the steel beams, but I've got to be honest, I'm not as keen on the steel bridges because they have like a roof to the bridge or whatever, and it does a bit of a height limit. So yeah, if I can, I'd rather just do the concrete bridge. At least it's just like a flat piece of concrete. There's not really any height limits or issues as far as that goes. Someone did say, what bit was it on? Oh, it might be with those pivot bridge things. Someone said the scalpers aren't too good at going through. I think they said if you reverse it does somehow, but if you go normal way it catches or something. I'm not too sure, I've not tried it myself, but I could imagine it probably is the way. As soon as I built I've only built one steel bridge, I think it was on Deluge, and yeah, the very next mission I had, it was getting everything stuck and all sorts because of like the height limit and the small size of the bridge, so kind of avoided them since then. Yeah, grab both these, they fit in the sideboard pretty well. One box is slightly smaller than the other, so you can put one long ways and so on, get them in there. And then yeah, I mean, I'm essentially taking a similar drive to what I did with the Hermit. That's why I just thought I'll skip that out, and yeah, I'll do this mission though. This is more of the main one to do. But yeah, like I say, there's a couple of sort of boring missions in the middle of this map I've found so far. Not that I don't hate it or anything because of that, I just mean there isn't particularly anything, like, since moving those damageable containers, which funnily enough I moved them, and then the next day there was a, like, I think the 4.1 patch. In fact, you can see at the bottom of the screen because it keeps bringing up that KSIVA number. It says 4.1. It did say in that they'd tweaked something to do with the damageable containers, but obviously Sod's Law had already completed it like 12 hours earlier. I know there is other damageable containers on the map, so there'll be other missions in the future to do that. But yeah, I've just kind of hit a patch where I did a lot of the semi-reasonably interesting missions, like moving those damageable containers and all the rest of it, and now I've just got kind of like a big fat list of side missions, which don't really unlock much of anything. They just give you rewards like XP and money, but you know, there's not really like, you don't unlock a steel mill or concrete factory, blah blah blah. That's why in the end part of it I decided to actually just get on with this main mission. Especially as well, since I've visited the Hermit, I would have in theory gone down to about 2 side missions left, but then that unlocked like 2 or 3 more, so yeah, I was just like, if it's going to keep refilling the side missions, I may as well, I'll chip away at a few of the main ones while I'm at it. So yeah, this is the water treatment plant, and I'm going to go straight ahead now, but this is basically where I peeled off to the right and started going towards the Hermit's house. At least this thing gets across here, not too bad. Brought a few other vehicles. I think the large crane got stuck quite a lot on. You can't really see what's under the water, so you can't really tell. You just kind of get stuck on rocks every now and then. Yeah, maybe you can attach a winch to them, but I'd say half of them you can't even see. You wouldn't even know where to deploy your crane to winch them out of the way. I saw on the news earlier, it's pretty crazy. I saw that guy Charlie Kirk been assassinated in America. That's a pretty bad one, like pretty ruthless. I see as well, it's September the 11th. Well, it is, like, it might not quite be when I post this video on YouTube, but in England it certainly is. 24 years ago as well. It's pretty mad how quick that's gone by. I think I was 12 when it happened, so I've actually, like, I've been alive twice as long post 9/11 than I was before it. Still doesn't feel like 24 years. I certainly remember it fresher than that. Still think as well they should have just rebuilt the towers. They looked a lot cooler than that Freedom Tower. No offence to it, but yeah, Twin Towers do look cool. Every time I see it in a film or anything now, you certainly notice it, but it'd be cool if they were put back the way they were supposed to be. Yeah, driving across here, I'd already explored a load of the map at this point. When you actually do this mission, it says area revealed and all the rest of it, but it was like, heh, we've already done that. Got most of the map done. There's a few little patches of cloud, but I just wanted to get enough done so I can see what's going on with the islands and all the rest of it. But yeah, I've pretty much got everything connected. Like I say, there's a couple of bridges I want to build, but preferably do them in concrete if I can, although I've noticed I've got 0 concrete slabs. I haven't even really seen, thinking about it, that I've particularly noticed any concrete scrap kind of laying around. Worst case, I can buy it though from the construction zone. And then you can see where I've drawn the flag, but now I got here, I was like, oh, it's kind of like a weird slope and a wall. So originally I was like, nah, I'll just go up this ramp here then. But then typical, my brain's like, yeah, but now we'll never know. For science, gotta go and find out. Tried to ramp up here. I thought if I can get the front wheels over, it might skedaddle its way up there, but no. It was not having it. I gave it a couple of goes, same result. Yeah, thankfully there was like another little ramp around this end of the concrete slabs facility. At least this yard's looking a bit cleaner. All the other ones I've been driving in, they're all ram-packed all over the place. Yeah, bring the equipment to the concrete plant. Done. Like I say, pretty simple, if boring missions, if anything, but got to be done. And then yeah, this unlocked a few more. One of them, a new main mission was like visit the port or something. Something important. Yeah, you know when you just get like, you've played enough that night and you're like, meh, I can't be arsed. That'll do. Yeah, I mean I had enough missions racked up anyway. If I did many more, I'd end up probably splitting it into tomorrow's footage. Yeah. So that's that in the bag. Like I say, got to get to the port. It unlocked, I believe the mission's available now to unlock that other base that I visited earlier. So at least I can get that one done next. Yeah, 31% now, nearly a third of the way through. Again, another little overlook at the map with the clouds all pretty much gone and how many missions I've done and all the rest of it. And then, yeah, my stats, like I say, bases unlock 50 out of 50, which I've still got 1 to unlock, so that's wrong in some way or another. Yeah, that's about it for today, though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope it helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf, because he's a goddamn piano-playing professional. And I'll be back soon.